Hi there. Um, just thought I would do another talk. Um, Now, on this talk, I want to talk about how to make change, or how you do make change. You know, the way to make change, well, it's a bit like, my unexpected spiritual awakening that I had just under 10 years ago. I have the moment where I have enough. I go within myself because I'm so depressed. I decide. Then I start going through the spiritual awakening process, and in that spiritual awakening, the spiritual awakening is an energetic shift into what is known as the fifth dimension. Humans that haven't had that spiritual awakening are in the third dimension. Now, when you awaken, you're now interacting and becoming and are the fifth dimension. So you just change the energy that you occupy. But if you don't change the energy that you occupy, you're not making any change. You see, there's this illusion, perceptual illusion, in trying to make change, where sheeple think that if they go protesting, they're making change. But remember, even if you're protesting, if you're going protesting, you're interacting with a lot of people. Your energy influences another energy, right? So if you're third dimensional and your energy is just, you're interacting with people, you're affecting them, right? So that's why the only thing one has to do to change the world, to change their world, you have to start with yourself. You have to look into the mirror if you want change. It starts with you. Then what happens is you change the energy that you occupy, and that energy interacts with whoever, whatever. And then your energy is influencing other energies. But if you're just protesting, you think you're making change, but your awareness isn't changing at all, your energy field isn't evolving, then energetically you're not making any change. And remember, everything comes from energy. Our energy creates the reality. As science has proven, this world, this planet, any planet, is an energy field. And everything it's all created by us. You see, even the demonic forces is actually us, because we're the ones here. The whole planet and everyone here is creating the energetic field, and that creates the physical reality. It's a bit like the film Back to the Future, where the scientist says, "Well, change the outcome here, and that changes the future." Yes, because it's all energy. Timelines is just different energy fields. As science has proven how it's all energy. Everything. That's why the simulation theory is one of the biggest, strongest theories, because it's backed by science. Because obviously, if you're energy, you're non-physical. If you're non-physical, you're not physical. But this non-physical thing is consciousness, and that manifests the apparent physicality. So when you change the frequency of the planet, you change the planet, you change the physical outcomes. Because remember, we're all emotional. We all respond to energy. Everything's energetic. An emotional field is what a planet is made of. So to change the planet, imagine if everyone was or the majority was to start going within and changing themselves, their energy field, then if the majority was doing it, then the world would change to a more spiritual reality. And like I say, that's how you make change properly. You know, you first got to change yourself. And that's the most change anyone can ever make. Because like I say, you're always interacting with someone or something, the world, and it's all energy. And it all responds to your energy. So if you're protesting but energetically you're still the same, you're just going to produce the same energy field, which will just keep this division, divide and rule going. See, the problem is there's a lack of awareness, right? When you start to awaken spiritually, you start to gain this self-awareness, right? And this is a very, very important thing, but a lot of people lack self-awareness, right? It's you know, but it's just a case, a bit of education can help. You know, my journey, like I say, it was depression that led to it. And the spiritual awakening is simply just becoming conscious. You're becoming more conscious. This consciousness comes from the heart vortex area, because that's just feeling. The head is thought, the heart space is feeling. And the HeartMath Institute in America talks about this, and it's science, that if you can actually work with your heart space and influence other people's heart spaces and heal the planet, because what you're doing then, you're changing the energy of the planet. My dad says, you know, he says to me today, he said, David Icke doesn't do anything. Well, actually, yes, he does. For example, I talk about subjects that if it wasn't for David Icke, I wouldn't know about these subjects. You know, I had a spiritual awakening myself, but there's lots of other information that I learned from David Icke. And David Icke is responsible for waking so many people up, right? My dad included, as well, many other people have this idea that they think everything's physical, and so they must be violent and protest. But if you look at every protest that's happened before and look at the world we have now, you know, Buddhists have this philosophy of silence and nothingness and stillness and quietness and not saying anything. And what does that do? Well, when you're quiet, you begin to meditate, right? Imagine if the majority of people were doing this. We would be ascending and healing ourselves. And then we'd be changing our energies. You have the majority doing that, you're changing the whole planet. So the most powerful thing to do, it seems crazy, but the most powerful thing to do is to do nothing. Because then when you start to go into nothingness, solitude yourself, you're healing yourself. You're transcending the way you are now into a higher state of consciousness. You're making the most change to yourself, and then you become an example of what to be, right? You become an example of how to ascend and awaken and heal yourself. And what you've done then is you've changed the very space that you occupy. You've changed that energy in that space. And like I say, that energy influences other energies that you interact with. So, yeah, this is something that I thought I'll continue to say this, because many aren't aware of this. You know, for example, a protest movement. Just look at Black Lives Matter. Now, take away the fact that it's funded by the 1%, it wouldn't matter, because the way that the protest is, like what my dad would say, violent. But look what it's done. You know, because why does it look bad? Because even though some of them might have good intentions, When you create violence, you create division, because you have to be violent towards another person. You're creating hurt. You're creating bad feelings, bad emotions. The oneness, the perception of oneness, I am you, defeats all racism and division and all that stuff. Right? And you only become oneness once you start to look at everything as it's you. Look at it every time you feel annoyed, look at it as an unhealed part within you, because that's what it is. Any trigger is unhealed parts within. And this is what going within really is. It's every time you're triggered, and working with that heart vortex all the time. And this is how you let go and forgive. And this is what aligns your chakra system with what I call the heaven self. That's the you that lives in heaven. This is how we make proper change. I've got a song I wrote. It's called The Revolution of Love. But we don't make change. That's why I say we don't make change. You know, when we're demanding change, it's like me before my awakening. Before my awakening, I'm blaming my parents and everyone else for my reality. But I'm not even changing my own energy. This is the same perception people have when they're protesting and demanding change. They're not willing to go within themselves. It's like they want the end result without doing the hard internal work. You see? We think the world is out there, but it's actually within here, within our heart space. And that's, people talk about the gut. Well, it's related to the heart center. Because the whole body responds to your emotions, you see. That's why they say disease, dis-ease, disharmony. So, yeah, the way forward, if you want to make the biggest change, well, start by looking in the mirror. That's it. Start by looking in the mirror. And then you'll realize that you can't expect change if you're not even healed yourself. It's like people that want to be a life coach. They do a course in it, but they've not life coached themselves. I'm a proper life coach because I have been through depression. I haven't had depression for nearly 5 years now. I had a unexpected spiritual awakening, and I've coached myself. So it's a proper life coach. If you haven't done that, you're not doing anything. So what we need to do is go within ourselves. And what does that mean? It means to simply become this transcendental state. And once we live from the heart vortex area, that's what happens in the unexpected spiritual awakening for me. All of a sudden you're in the heart vortex, and the heaven realm is leading you through the process. And then you're changing your energy for the highest good. So then whatever you interact with, is you're influencing that energy. So that's why I say that the only ones that have really made change are the ones that have had this spiritual awakenings. Well, what's spiritual awakening? Well, it's a choice. Right? It's a choice. At that moment, I had enough. Some people, when they have enough, kill themselves. So, it's a choice, But if you kill yourself, you're not healing the problem, which means you're not going to feel any better, because you're just energy. You can't escape what you feel in this present moment. You can only go within, and as you meditate and you go within yourself, you're now aware of the subconscious traumas when you go deep in meditation. And then you heal it. And in meditation, deep meditation, you can face these problems without the hurt, so you can deal with it and heal it. And this is how you change yourself and your space that you occupy, and that interacts with the rest, with whoever you're interacting with, and that influences them. Now, if the majority were doing that, like I say, they would change the world in a day. So what the Buddhists say about silence and saying nothing is the most powerful way forward to change the world. Now, I'm just going to end it there. For latest updates, videos, talks, etc., please do visit my website at www.lovelightfamily.com. Thank you for watching and listening to my talks.